leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Car era lore. Call me Levi playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. If you haven't already done so, do us a favor, drop a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo, lets everyone know we're here, and does us a real solid. As always, I'm Captain, my co-host Steve. Very financial advice in the show. Crypto's risky, NFTs are risky. Meme coins exceptionally risky. Go to 0 to moment's notice. Please don't put any money in you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I will likely hold tokens we'll talk about here from time to time on the show. We are not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisors. Don't join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, and education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM, doing well. GM to the chatters out there, slow morning.
What did I miss? I missed something in the intro. I don't know what it was, but I know it was way too short. I definitely missed a whole portion of that intro. What was it?
I don't think so. It sounded about right to me. I thought you hit all the intro stuff right, but I don't know. Maybe you did. People could tell us if you did.
I'm gonna get in my head the rest of the cold open. I'm gonna have to start taking notes because I feel like something was off there.
You could have bullets. You could do the thing and just have bullets just in case to make sure you don't miss anything.
Actually, you know what it was? I was making bullets for some things we have to talk about on the show, and that's probably what distracted me. So I was thinking about future bullets instead of just. Usually, I don't prep, but I just it's like riding a bike. But yeah, my mind was elsewhere.
Yeah, no, it's making future bullets. It's the got to live in the moment, as they say. But no, GM to all the folks out there, Diablito, Teacher Katie, Green Edge, Rare Ed, Be Epic, all out there in the chat. RDL, Von Frunton. But yeah, do us a favor, like, retweet, and comment on the room, just because it's always a little bit of a slower start on a nice, wonderful Monday. Getting over to the X chat as well. GM out there too. Mel always in there. got the plus bottom. Oh no, on the space. Don't like that.
Yeah, mine looks good. You?
Mine looks good. It's weird.
My abstract global wallet balance does not look good.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a function of war.
Actually, though, like I know we'll get into it, but yes, like markets, we'll do our market update here in a little bit. Like I was blown away this morning. I actually woke up begrudgingly. First thing I did was check the price of Bitcoin. That's now my new like indicator of the world markets is what is the price of Bitcoin. I was expecting. I know we had a little bounce yesterday. I was expecting like mid 90s. I already came into my check assuming mid 90s and saw it at 102, and I was like, that's interesting. War's bullish, Steve.
I don't think it's bullish. I think it's just. I think that we. I think
meaning that only in the financial sense, only in financial markets.
No, I know what you mean, but I was gonna say like I don't think it's that. I think it's just that. I was commenting on Legendary Status over the weekend where he talked about Bitcoin or something related to it, and what made it really interesting to me is that I think we normalized Bitcoin over 100K in our heads long ago, and as a crypto community,
it's the magnet. Like 100K is now the new magnet. I've said this a few times. I think retail is not going to pay attention until we get there's enough distance from 100K. Like, I don't know if it's 125, I don't know if it's 150, but right now 100K has become the magnet. If it dips below 100K, people are like, oh, this might be the last time you get Bitcoin below 100K. I better buy now. It's like, I do think that there's something psychologically tied to that $100,000 price point. Case in point, last week they were both, basically the same price. If ETH was 2,500, now ETH rebounded to 2,200, the same price it was exactly 4 years ago. Someone asked, what is this? They showed this the same date, the ETH exact same price it was this day in 2021, and I was like, this is depression.
It's interesting because here, I know we'll do our market update, but like here's the thing that's weird to me is like I was saying to B-Check is that we normalize 100K, and I think in our head we were always like Bitcoin 100K, and then when it got there we partied and that was good and we were fine. A year ago Bitcoin was 60K.
It's insane, man.
63K on this date a year ago, 63K, and then it jumped down to 60K. You're talking about that level of a massive run up, a near 2x, not a near 2x, but you get the point. Whatever 4/6 is, 2/3, whatever 33 or 66% run up or whatever it is, 66% run up in a year. Probably the best performing asset. And that's why I show that chart, because I look at that chart sometimes and I think we just normalized 100K, even though what's our tippy top, like 111 or whatever it was. It's like I just find it very interesting that we just normalize that as the as what we expect, and it's like it gets down to 100K and people just start buying because they're like, well, it's a buy here. And I know that we have a lot of institutions and a lot of governments and everybody else. Texas just passed their strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. People are coming in to buy Bitcoin, and it's going to affect all crypto. I don't know. I don't get, like, I'm happy about it, but you talk about 100K being the magnet. Is it just because we all in our heads decided 100K Bitcoin was going to happen? So when it did, we're like, yeah, it's supposed to be here. Like, what made 100K Bitcoin this benchmark? And is it even a good thing, or is it possibly a bad thing? Because in our head, we start realizing, okay, this is our benchmark, but then, like, if it goes up, does it go down to that? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's the new floor. Like, not like it ever drop below 100K again? Yes. If it does, I'll shove everything in. I'm not even kidding. If we happen to see, like, I don't know, 75, 80K Bitcoin, I will rotate everything in there, because I think 100K is the new floor for Bitcoin. It's just a vibes call. I'm not a TA expert by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, I think 100K is the new floor, because it's yes, everything that we've all here psyoped ourselves into believing Bitcoin's going to 100K. In addition to that, the timing of all the institutional buy pressure is real. Like, people like talking about how much Bitcoin that BlackRock owns. BlackRock doesn't own, they hold that Bitcoin on behalf of their customers. It's a big difference. it's a huge difference, actually.
Massive difference.
A company that they held all that Bitcoin on their balance sheet, they could be like Germany one day and decide to capitulate at the bottom and have 3% of Bitcoin dumped off. That would that's never going to happen with BlackRock's stash. Like there's like I guess there is a scenario. I just don't know. I don't think it's even fathomable that 100% of BlackRock's customers all hit the sell button on the same day. Like it's just
That's not possible. No, yeah.
So it's just like the ETF, the institutional buy power, these institutions, the Bitcoin strategic reserves, like not to mention you have Saylor, who's got literally his entire everything he's ever built to make sure it doesn't dip below 78K or whatever his number is. So that's my, like, if it ever even gets close to that, this is like, this isn't hyperbole. I would probably rotate everything but my Bored Ape into Bitcoin if it even gets close to that. Because I think Saylor has set the absolute floor, and he'll just do whatever financial instrument he needs to do. He'll do some fancy debt. He'll do something to ensure he doesn't go bust. Like if he does, whatever, we'll see it zero. Right? That is the black swan. I just don't think that happens. I think 100K is like the soft floor. Saylor 78 or 77K is the hard floor, and anything between those two numbers, I think, is smash the buy button.
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. It feels like you're right. Like it feels like I mean,
Justin, kid you not, 9 minutes ago, Saylor's strategy buys 245 Bitcoin worth 26 million. So that's like you and I going and buying like 0.1 Bitcoin. Actually, probably closer to like 0.01 Bitcoin, but still, he bought the dip.
Yeah, Saylor bought the dip as he tends to. Although a lot of times he buys when it goes back up. Motto asks, Pon's interview happening today? No, on Wednesday. Although we will talk about Pon's on a plane today. Tomorrow we got OV coming on to talk.
That's what I forgot. That's exactly what I forgot in the opening. Carousel's up top. Go smash that carousel. We got OSF joining us tomorrow for a major interview we had to reschedule like 6 or 7 times. So we'd absolutely love to have a full house for him and show him that we actually are huge fans of Rekt and have been beating that drum for a while. Pon's joining us Wednesday. I'm sure we're going to get into that here a little bit. Steve and I both were like the, not to yuck anyone's yum, but I think both of us were a little, I'm just going to use the word disappointed. That's the word I kept going back to. Like, I wasn't fudding it. Like, they crushed the launch. I was just disappointed in how they launched it, and it wasn't what the platform is going to become. So whatever, play the game. I'm not hating any of the players, although I did mute a couple. I'm not a fan of that game, and I was optimistic that this will actually fix some of the problems with that game, and it just added to the fuel on the fire. That all happened after the show Friday, so we will get into that a little bit. Probably save the deeper conversation for Wednesday when we can talk with Pawns instead of. So as soon as I sent out the post, I immediately DM'd Pawns like, "Hey, I'm going to be pretty critical about this launch. We're going to talk about it on Monday. I'd much rather talk about it with you than like behind your back. Like, that's not us. We like you. We respect you, but we're also going to keep it real." And so yeah, he's going to join us Wednesday, and go hit that carousel up top, at least for Tuesday and Thursday shows. Tuesday and Wednesday shows. And we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like funny because like sometimes I think we catch crap because people will be like, "Hey, like you guys are always so." Like you guys don't necessarily, you're not critical to founders. You're not like, oh, you're just bullish or just pump back. Like I've gotten this feedback for it. I'm like, we'll talk bad directly to people's faces or to them. It's like, when Luca had controversy, he came on our show the next day and we asked him every single question. I think how you ask things matter, right? I don't want to box someone into a corner in a way that's like makes them defensive and not give an honest answer because I'm not being intellectually fair. And so, it was like we both gave critiques of that, and we'll definitely hit on it. And it's worth getting into to talk about what that was. But just to put on the bow in the Bitcoin conversation, I would say, and again, like, retweet, comment on the room, give us a little bit of love there as well. I would say like there is, it just feels like we have hit this baseline at 100K. Feels like Saylor's going to continue to buy. It feels like governments are coming in. It feels like people are accepting this almost like gold, and it's going to start to be part of allocations of everybody's 401ks and IRAs and things. Once it starts getting put into those like target date retirement funds, it's like, it's just an automatic buy of this asset in perpetuity. And so I think it's an interesting one to follow. Because I think it, is just like gold. It performs well, and I think it's going to continue to perform well based on the fixed supply, based on how it's set up. The one thing I'd say is like, do traditional cycles, are they dead? Is the big question, right? Is it like Bitcoin traditional cycles in the 4-year periods, are those dead? I guess would be the thing now that we have institutional money and new things. I don't know.
I think so. Maybe not like dead, but they'll be different. I don't expect it to just play out the same way it has in the past, because clearly the participants are very different than what we've had in past cycles. I think it'll impact it. I just don't think it's going to be. I'll just say, like, I will be shocked if we see pull downs as much as we have in the last bear markets. Like maybe not. If Bitcoin rips up to 250K and we'll pull back to 100K, and that's probably on par with previous pull downs. If it rips up to 120K and that's our all-time high, I wouldn't be surprised to see it not dip below 100K again. But Rocky, a legend in the abstract chat, big $5 USD tip over there. Appreciate you. Mato says my X account got flagged today for spamming about Xeet. Again, I get the game. I understand what they did. What really turned me off, and I'll say this and we can move on, Steve. And I called him out in my post. So I'm not like, I don't have anything against Zubik. I know he founded Space Riders or something. But I saw a post that, I found a way to hack this. Or didn't use the word hack. I found a way to get the #1 ranking. The next post I saw was Zubik had like over 300,000 points and claimed to be the #1 ranked in points on the Xeet thing. I scanned his timeline, Steve. How long do you think it took me to find a post that wasn't about Xeet?
Honestly, like
how many posts do you think Zubik posted about Xeet in the 8-hour period?
12.
Not even close.
20.
Not even close.
How many?
Over 50 original posts, not even counting replies. So I think all in, well over 100. But like, I almost posted the video, like I was scrolling down and like I could have went for minutes on my screen record and all you would see would Xeet posts. That is not signal. That is the definition of noise. It's also funny, like I'm going to get off of Xeet because I don't want it to make it just about that. This is the problem with InfoFi, is people can spam the timeline, rank to the top, and then it crushes the integrity of all those leaderboards. Now, some of the people on leaderboards are legit, they're actual signal, but all these leaderboards, all of them right now, Fido, Cookie, Quacks, all of them have legitimate actual signal on all their leaderboards, people that should be on there. All of them also they're littered with noise, people who are just farming the shit out of it. I thought Xeet was coming out to fix that. Maybe they do, but I think your analogy, which I loved, and I kind of modified it a little bit. I told Pons, like, man, I thought we were, I was under the impression you were launching a healthy sugar-free cookie store to compete with Crumble. I didn't realize that you're just swapping the sugar for cocaine. Because I'll give him credit. It beat Laudio. Like for an 8-hour rush, it might be the best campaign we've seen to capture that much attention on a timeline in just the first 8 hours. But it's counter to what their whole vision and whole mission is. And it just felt dirty. And then not lost on me this morning. Did you see bold ratio whale?
No, what happened?
I'll go grab it, pull it up. Whale did another one of his, like, talked about Arbitrum, and basically the whole tweet was about their CLDR. They're paying me. Let me just pull it up so I can get Bold. Bold said it better than I would. He's got more wit than I do.
Bold is like, I mean, you said the people of our generation. Like, Bold is like, I want to find a way to tip, or like, I love Bold Leonidas.
I think I'm gonna go buy some of it. I don't hold anything he owns. I think I'm going to, because it just, like, it's not like free, but he hasn't had his moment yet. And I'm like, I say that like, and I say this as I'm older than people. So I saw he just celebrated his 44th birthday, so I got him by like a few months. I don't view myself as old as people. Is that weird?
No, I mean, he gives off old energy.
But I genuinely believe, like, Bold, his daily commentary by art or by way of art on this space is I enjoy it more than Beeple's. Like it's just obviously he's inspired by Beeple very heavily with the the daily art. He's on it, man. He is dialed in. So anyways, here's what Whale says. Arbitrum is one of the few established players. This is not a shot at Whale. I like Whale. He even makes fun of this himself here in the replies you'll see in a second. They're distributing 400,000 Arbor 3 months. The first month ends next week. And they're also supporting projects that are building on Kaido tech, such as Yapyo, which kind of uses the Laudio model, but with buybacks. Leaderboard went live today. I'm not on it. Rest in peace. I wouldn't be surprised to see more established blockchains go in a similar direction in the future. It's paying off for Arbitrum so far. It's near global top 10 in 7-day mindshare as one of the few post-TGE projects, plus a big spike in user-generated content. The changes in Kaido algo for the leaderboard mindshare is also improved content quality recently, which is bullish. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Bold says, I find these posts so odd talking about it because they are paying you to talk about it, but the only thing talked about is the fact that people are talking about it because they are paid to. Let me read that again. Whale is not the only one doing this. There's a lot of noise on all of these leaderboards. They're playing the game. I'm not hating on Whale. Go get your bag. He says, I find these posts so odd. You're talking about it because they're paying you to talk about it. But the only thing that's talked about is the fact that people are talking about it because they're paid to talk about it. And Whale knew he was getting ratioed here, and sure enough, he did get, in fact, ratioed by Bold. So clearly people agree. Clearly people don't like the spamming, don't like talking about something just because it's on a leaderboard. Like, actually give us real quality content. I said I would go back to that one post where he said they've updated the algo. That's what's so mind-blowing to me. I was under the impression those posts don't count anymore. I was under the impression if all you talk about is the leaderboard or you're getting paid to post on the leaderboard, like I thought they were nerfing those posts. I'm guessing though, I mean, that post the original post got 41,000 views. I'm guessing he's probably going to be rewarded with a lot of yaps today still, because if he wasn't, he would stop doing it. Whale's smart enough guy. He knows the game as good as anyone in the space in terms of how to rank on these leaderboards. So my whole point being, I'm as big as a bull on InfoFi as a sector as you might find. It is far from perfect. It's very gameable. I like pawns. I love the vision of what it was, the stated mission of Xeet. I guess I'm saying it right. We should probably, at least for those that missed it, we should probably give at least the TLDR. Do you want to do that?
I'll do that, but it's kind of funny you say this. I have some notes in it. I'm not even going to flash it, but I think I have a 2,500 word article on InfoFi that I'm trying to get out tomorrow. If I can record it today and finish working on it and maybe find some graphics I can toss in there. I basically talk about all of these things and more, and actually probably some stuff people won't like in this space where I talk about how to make it normal and actually usable outside of Web3. So it's funny that we had that conversation about it. But yeah, it's funny. Like the Yeet situation.
Yes, so that one post will yield Whale $5,000. It may. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's probably a little exaggeratory, but Mado also said that and I share this already. His okay,
got hacked or got flagged or whatever. Here's the thing with Yeet or Xeet or however it's pronounced. I think it's Yeet. Xeet would probably be it because I'm guessing it's like Chinese, like G, like the X. So I'm thinking maybe Xeet.
See, I thought.
You think Xeet, like the X is a Z, or Xeet? Like
whatever it is, I'm going to say it 3 or 4 different ways just to make.
Like I just went with the Chinese pronunciation of Xeet. I didn't even look.
I read it as like X, like instead of a tweet, or like instead of a tweet, it's a Xeet.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know. But either way, here's the problem I ran into. I made a couple of analogies. So I made the one where it was like, imagine opening up a health food store like you use and your first product is cake and soda. And you're like, hey, man, I got to get people in the door. The other analogy, which I actually think was better, was imagine somebody says they're going to be a natural bodybuilder. They're like, hey, no, completely natural, do everything. But to get into the competition, they do steroids because, hey, that's how you get into the competition. But now that I'm in the competition, I swear it's going to be just all healthy bodybuilding. And I think the problem I ran into is everybody seemed to misunderstand Cap and my critique, which was Pons launched this InfoFi platform. It's basically a spammy click my link, click your link, click my link, click everything, and get points for clicking and spamming the timeline. It launched on the whole ethos of being signal over noise, and then launched with a fucking confetti cannon. Like, it was completely loud and completely obnoxious and all over the timeline, which I'm not saying that was a bad thing, because the problem was everybody responded to me like, I'd like to see you launch something that's this effective without that. It's not about whether it was effective or not. I said it was fine, good, go for it. My point is, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like, my point is, don't sit there and say, oh, we're going to be signal over noise, and then your first opening act is a noise campaign, and people try to be like, well, it was just for signups, and I don't think it's going to really tie into the score. And it's like, look, I don't care what it's for. It's disingenuous to say you are, it feels disingenuous. I'll see what Pon says about it, to say signal over noise and then launch the noisiest campaign we've seen on the timeline, noisier than Laudio even. And then people are like, well, they stopped it. They couldn't have expected it. It's like people saying, like, acting like it's surprised. Like this is actually one of the worst parts, is when people are like, but Pons was surprised. He didn't know it was going to be this good. It's like, the incentive structure of the campaign was built on noise. There's no other way.
I do think it got out of control. The reason I believe this, because I'm going to take him at face value. We'll go. I know, yes, we'll at least touch on the NBA. We have some requests in the chat, so we'll fly over that real quick. Did they expect to capture attention? Yes. Did it exceed their expectations and get a little out of control? I think also yes. I will take him at face value and believe what they're saying there, because it was originally supposed to be a multi-week campaign. They killed it after 8 hours. If it was going exactly as planned, they just let it go as they planned. They quit. So I will credit them for that. That was a very good decision. Like, there's even some people now that said they missed it. They didn't even see it, because yeah, if you were offline for the 8 hour period on Friday, you would have missed the whole thing. Like, it was all for a period of 8 hours. If you're in crypto Twitter, it's 99% of the tweets you saw where people are spamming Xeet or Yeet or Exit. They're calling it now. XEET. After that, it was complete silence. No one talked about it, because again, it was just a direct, blatant farm for attention. It was essentially an initial attention offering without a token yet. You just got points instead. But
the reason I don't take it at face value is because it may have gotten more out of control than they expected.
They expected some, sure. I just don't think they expected it to get as crazy as it did.
But
and then they made the call to cut it. Because had they not, I think it's dead. And that was my post, is I didn't mean the project is DOA. The launch campaign was DOA. Like, you launch something like this, a non-shilly, a better version of InfoFi with a shilly, noisy, farmy campaign. Had that continued for weeks, everyone on the timeline has it muted.
Yeah, and I guess, like, my point being less so the success being more than expected, more so one of the things that we have completely warped in Web3 is incentive structures. There are no clear incentive structures. Most of them are these never-ending sort of, like, dangling carrots of Ponzi's, etc. Right? And I see Thomas saying the Somnia Network leaderboard is the most organic. Maybe. But if you have a whole bunch of other deeds, you rank a little bit higher. So it's like,
but at the same time, where I will agree with Thomas, of all the Kaido campaigns, that is one where most of the posts I see are at least people making an effort to share something about the platform. Like, Grateful is crushing it over there. Does he hold other deeds? Yeah, sure. Is he getting some boosts? Yeah, sure. He's not saying, oh, I talked about, the Somnia leaderboard's closing today. They're giving away, like, every post isn't just talking about the campaign. He's actually talking about things that are happening on Somnia. That's how InfoFi should work.
I agree. And again, I have a whole bunch. I need to, like, really just speed run this article because I think it's as appropriate now as ever. But like,
let me just front run the whole thing so I can spoil Steve's. I'm kidding.
No, it's got a lot. Honestly, like, I layer in what other data should be put in. I layer in different incentive structures. I layer different reward opportunities. I basically thought deeply about, like, what this could be if Delta or Starbucks or a national or international brand did it. I always have Dawn read it to be like, give me a Web 2 perspective. What's too jargony? Because I'm actually trying to do something that you could share with your friends who are not in Web 3 about what InfoFi is. So it's a little bit like combination of 101 plus 102 stuff. But yeah, man, it's just like, my point being on, like, the leaderboard thing, or on the noise thing, being like, oh yeah, it got more out of control than Pons expected. Everyone was trying to make this excuse. It's like, right, but the incentive structure is what drives activity. If you are driving, example, when your incentive structure is to talk like the way what Boldly United just said, if the incentive structure is talk about the thing that people are talking about to get money from the thing because you're getting paid for the thing, then people are just going to post sort of these empty, vapid tweets that don't say anything. If your incentive structure is talk about the actual product, then people will talk about the product. If your incentive structure is share my link, click my link, go to my link, do this thing, well, then that is a noisy incentive structure. No matter how successful Pons and team thought this was going to be, the choice was we are doing an attention noise campaign. And everybody tried to say, like, they're doing attention noise campaign. One person accused me of, like, not doing research. And I'm like, homeboy, I'm in the middle of a 2,500 word article about InfoFi. I would say I've done more research than 99.9% of the people if you want to get down that road. But the fact of the matter is that, like, you created an incentive structure based on noise, period, point blank, end of story. And that's it. And so, like, that's why I say, like, no matter whether it got out of control or not, the excuse isn't there, because they could have launched with a wave of communities organically. They could have launched in a quiet way. They could have launched similar to what Rec does with their distribution channels. Instead, they made it loud.
That's my take. I think they got 50,000 people to sign up. Awesome. I'm of the belief, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's very easy. I acknowledge it's very easy for me to sit here and Monday morning quarterback something that I've never done before. I've never launched a campaign like this. Very easy for me to critique it and say what I would have done differently. It's simple. I respect that. I also recognize you got to capture attention, but words matter. Like, how you position things matter. Let me. This is an attack on. This is not an attack on Zubik. It's just, it was the easiest example because it's also the person, like, this is how you get to the top of a quote unquote signal leaderboard. You ready for this?
Yeah.
They start, those are somewhere like from the following day. Here's where June 21st, the day it was actually taking place.
Xeet. Look at all this. It's
We're just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not watching the stream,
like, honestly, chat, is this signal or is this noise? If you need me to slow down, I will. But
the problem is, if you slow down, we're not going to get half the post done.
We won't. I don't think this is what Pons was talking about when he meant a signal platform. It's just spam it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Like, congratulations, you won. You broke it. Like, people like Zubik is why they killed the campaign after 8 hours. I'm not hating. I'm just calling how I see it. And I don't think you could convince me otherwise.
Yeah. I see Jack has his hand up and has a thought on this. Jack, go ahead and get in here, GM.
Fellas, GM, what a day. Look, I love starting my morning with you guys. It's the best, even though actually it's my afternoon right now. And especially when there has been a moment like we just had on the weekend where you do have to spend Saturday and Sunday just waiting to get back on and listen to you guys on the show. I'm of two minds. Like, I would like to give Pons benefit of the doubt on some of this. I'm with Cap on this idea that, look, InfoFi has been done for a while now. I can understand their assumption to be like, look, we are not first out the gate here. People are a little bored with the farming side of it. We can see that with other platforms and protocols, and the data is on a downtrend outside of Cato, etc. I can see them making that mistake, and then obviously just all hell breaking loose and having to be like, okay, we're going to have to call it here. I can see that mistake. I think for the most part, though, I also think that it's just ludicrous to be talking about signal against noise, especially when you have genuinely a whole continent who were completely left out on that side. And now my biggest concern is how they're going to redo this, because realistically, there's only one solution for them if they actually want to, like, stick to their word here. At least
you got to nerf all the points, right? You got to nerf all the points. That's the only way you get integrity back in your leaderboards. You have to nerf the points. Otherwise, people like Jack, who is a signal account, he's always going to be behind Zubik by 300,000 points. Like, or the points have nothing to do with their leaderboard. And I think that's probably the answer. The points are just like, you'll get some allocation for grind, or you'll get some allocation for our future token, but it has the points. If the points that people spammed for on Friday have anything to do with the actual InfoFi leaderboards, the entire thing is dead. So it's like, yeah, I think they have to either nerf them or make them completely irrelevant to the actual platform they're building.
Yeah, so you've either got noise points, which is everything that was in during that 8 hours, and then you've got signal points that come out afterwards. Because, yeah, I don't know what else they can do, or they just really heavily skew signal now in terms of like the point system. Like every decent post is worth literal 10,000 of those points. It's the only way to do it. So, like, yes, you can very quickly catch up to these guys who have 300,000 plus points purely because of what you've just shown on the screen. Like, it's just spam, and that's all it was. It was also buggy, by the way. I woke up at like 4:40 that day. It was just one of those days where it was so hot in the UK. My apartment was genuinely trying to cook me. I felt like a turkey, and I just woke up at 4:40, couldn't get back to sleep, hit X, which is like the most unhealthy thing to do ever, and just saw this spam. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me see where these points are. I went in to like maybe 6 or 7 accounts, clicked on their account, and this is probably going to get my points completely scraped anyway, the few points that I did manage to get in the hour before it was closed over in the UK. But I just clicked on a couple of accounts that came up, and it was like just transferring their points to me. So rather than me getting like 50 points or 100 points, it was just like, oh, this person has 1,800 points. You now have 1,800 points. If I had found one of those 300k guys, I wonder what would have happened. But it didn't seem to make sense to me, like from engagement, like how those are points accrued. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go into their back end if they find actually that the allocation was also a little broken. So yeah, just overall, not ideal for Ponds. They've got a big hill to climb back up from, but they do have the attention, and I'm sort of like, well, that is literally like 95% of the game. So if they can turn this around, they've done the hardest part first, which is get the attention. And I am also getting a little bored of this is the death of InfoFi, because I don't care who you are. I don't care how smart you are. If you think InfoFi is going anywhere at this point in time, and you are using that as a reason not to get involved, either as a project or as a creator, you're just going to get left behind. There is no middle ground to that.
And it's not, I agree. And it's not just InfoFi from crypto companies. You're like, hey, I have no excuses, but I've still yet to crack the monetization threshold. I told RFDZ I need to just suck it up and reply guy grind for a month or two. If you notice, you probably saw a lot of people talking about their X payouts went up. Elon's increasing the price of X Premium. I believe it's a direct attempt to bring more bigger creators to this platform. And like, this is, if you're a content creator, like this is part of the game. And like being aware of how things are working, I still am optimistic that we have not seen the final form of InfoFi yet. Maybe Steve writes the book on it, and maybe Steve builds the final boss of InfoFi.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I'm kind of like excited about the timely nature of this thing. I don't know if people are going to actually, it's one of those things where, again, it's a long form thing. I'll record it again so people can listen, so they don't just have to read it. But the idea is to show people in and out of Web3 what it looks like. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I didn't really participate. I shared like one link in the DGen network chat. A couple people clicked it, I think. I don't really care. I didn't really get involved. It's just, again, I think there needs to be like this honest conversation about like, one, I agree with Jack. Like, fading InfoFi right now, it's going to exist at least for the cycle. The question is whether it becomes a hype cycle or whether it becomes an actual viable product. And the answer to that will be whether we see it continue to grow or people adopt it in a way that makes sense. If I'm Kaido, you can rake in money right now. Do you want to become a major industry player? Then you need to have new offerings that actually can work outside of the space. If I'm, or Wallchain or any of them, or they just, make their money in here. They don't care and they jump. It's a matter of, do you care about escaping our corner of the internet or not? Because a lot of these companies don't. Like, these people can get perfectly rich with every day. I feel like there's a new Kaido announcement in there with a protocol or a project or a coin or whatever saying, hey, we're on the leaderboard. It's another $100,000 in their pocket just to run a leaderboard and get people excited about it. So, if you do the math on it, they're doing just fine for themselves on top of the fact that they have a token that people are buying. So I don't know if they even care about escaping the space. Not saying you does or doesn't. We'll work on trying to get him on the show. He actually followed me recently, which is cool. Ironically, he followed me. I tweeted. I don't know if it's because I'm on the Kaido leaderboard now. Like, I wonder if he follows everybody on there. I did see as a total like digression side note in a very bizarre thing. I haven't talked about Pengu in here. Let me find a window. I haven't talked about
Dude,
Pengu.
This is actually pretty bearish. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I got to follow up though on this.
I haven't talked about Pengu, I think, at all. I'm 83 on the Pengu leaderboard out of nowhere, 56 on the Kaido, and 50 on PTGE.
Did you see Zier's post?
Yeah, Zier's like, I don't even talk about it that much. Where are you, Pengu's peoples?
What is going on? How's that like?
It must be a glitch in the leaderboard, or maybe it's historically indexing things. I don't know what
he says. He doesn't talk about it. He says he had like one tweet about it. He's number one on the Pengu leaderboard.
But it's also, well, I mean, Zier's a shit poster, so it's possible Zier talked about it plenty and then said that just to troll the Penguins. It's also possible that they did some historical index, because I did talk about it at one point and got a lot of cooks on it back in the day. So maybe they historically went back and they're like, we want to show people who have been reliably talking about it for 6 months, and they back index things. Because I just all of a sudden popped on that leaderboard, and I haven't talked about Pengu in forever. But I wonder, because like, yeah, I just started noticing I'm ranking on, like, my pre-TGE leaderboard has fallen like a rock. I think I was top 30 on that. Now I'm 50. Kaido's 56. That keeps going up, even though, I don't know, I've been talking about InfoFi a little more recently. Pengu, I'm guessing maybe they did it historically. But yeah, I think InfoFi, and again, I'll get more into it in the deep dive, but I think it's tricky, because in order to make it sustainable, it needs to not be the money chasing cash grab that it is now. It has to be actually real. Like, you know, in a world where, and this is a futuristic state where tickets and things are on the blockchain, it allows you to connect, whether you buy tickets to a game, if you're a sports team, or go to a fan fest, or buy merchandise. Like, those things need to start coming into play, because just yelling on X isn't sustainable, nor is it actually a sustainable model. Like, at face value, like, if you're Nike, do you only want the loudest voices on Twitter yelling about you, or do you want purchases, fans of your brand, people who buy your products, people who attend your events? Like, those things are going to matter towards those fandom leaderboards. So I think they have a long way to grow, but I just think the idea of gamifying fandom is interesting, and I think it's valuable for the brands. I think it's super valuable for Nike maybe to have regional, you know, tier-based leaderboards that tell you who is their top fan, so they can say, surprise, we're sending you a pair of like rare Jordans, right? Like, that sort of thing can happen. So I think those things are what make it interesting. And I think there's a lot of models. I actually realized after I did this, I'm probably going to like do some InfoFi in practice ideas to potentially do it. Let's do this. Let's go back to Jack, then we'll bring Joey in here. Jack, get back in here.
Oh, I thought Cap wants to come in first, so I'll get the mic over to Cap and then I'll come in.
You're good. My bad. I didn't realize I was unmuted still.
It's all good. Okay. Well, look, for me, it's InfoFi, although it is inevitable, it is broken right now. I think there's a couple things you need to look at, though, and one of them is how bad it was beforehand, and even how bad it is now for projects and brands to try and gain attention in this space, and it is entirely broken. Like, you only have to see, like, Vo, if anyone follows Vo, she's one of like the biggest accounts on X in the crypto sphere. She has posted like 7 or 8 brands, personal brands, KOLs, whatever you want to call them, who have been flaunting themselves as females on the timeline with a bunch of botted followers with some pretty big ambassadorships next to their name. And like, the value to those ambassadorship programs, like, which I assume are a couple of thousand at least, like, it's got to be 0 or close to it. So there is like a genuine problem that is heightened in the crypto space as opposed to anywhere else. And, you know, people can fight me on this. I know it exists elsewhere, but it's not this bad in certain other industries. Maybe it is in a couple, but no, like, this industry specifically, it is very easy to just build up a botted account, talk about Laudio or whatever else, and get some semblance of a crypto following, and then just rinse projects for it. The same way we had that gotchi shit happen on the timeline, which basically fooled Abstract completely. They were even talking about it. That ended terribly. They rugged, got a bunch of influencers, terrible reputations on the whole of it because they thought they were in on it. It took Whale and a bunch of other credible people who didn't talk about it to say, look, the influencers just got ripped off here. They didn't at all make any money on it. So these are 2 things that literally happened last week alongside this InfoFi stuff that obviously needs to be solved, and InfoFi does a good job of that. I think that's something worth acknowledging. But at the same time, these TGE-focused InfoFi platforms that currently exist do just that. It's like, if it's not related to a TGE, even a post-TGE, You can't talk about it, and it's just bullshit. And then you have spaces as well, which I'm sorry, but you guys must have added some of the most value to the crypto space in terms of retention of people to stay here because they feel heard and they feel like they can actually project not just like a bias, oh, I need to talk about this in a careful way. They can talk about it however they feel because you guys aren't beholden to anyone. And so are the Nifty guys or Bodoggos guys, whatever you want to call them these days. You've got Rug Radio, you've got Modern Market. None of these things in any way support spaces, which is literally the backbone of this space. So, there's some serious work to do, not TG focus and like actually bringing spaces and video along for the ride. I know it's going to be difficult, but these are just things that suck right now.
I must be getting old because my brain can't comprehend the LARPing. I don't get it. In today's age, I can't comprehend why a man, because by the way, one of those brand ambassadors that's getting paid by a brand that is now planning to go public, this was just announced today, it's a exchange, they're looking to go public in the US. One of their brand ambassadors is a man that LARPs as a woman on this app. It's been called out. People I respect to know still GM back to this man who LARPs as an attractive woman. I can't fathom why you would do that in the world of like, if you want to build an account that is a female, fine. I'm not going to hate. Do you? That's weird. It's not my journey, but why would you steal other images in a place you know is full of autistic degens that are going to track that shit? It may not be today. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught and you're going to lose all credibility. So why would you not just go create an AI image? Go create an AI character, spend a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and it's
then people are like, it's innovative. Like, it's so funny how like if you LARP as a,
they can't call you on your shit. It's oh, you created an AI agent account that became famous. Awesome. That's celebrated. Stealing real photos from other real human beings on other social apps, that is just weird. That is, you are LARPing. And
borderline criminal.
It depending on what you're doing with it, yeah. It could, like, I don't know. I guess, yeah, if you were to LARP and use it as a, I don't know if there's any case law on that.
You'd have to do actual like identity theft at that point. You'd actually have to sign up for something. Or
I think there's probably fraud claims there. Like if you were to LARP as someone else, you've got these jets and these cars and you launch a project and that's why people buy is they think you're successful and you've never moved out of your parents' basement. You just pretended to be someone else that's successful. I think that's, you could probably get hit with fraud or wire. I don't know. I'm not, but I think it's at best, it's just immoral, like wrong. Like,
well, I mean, it's
weird. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? Go create a fake person. If you want it to be the opposite sex, fine. But you can do this today. Why are you still stealing other real humans' images? You're going to get caught.
Yeah, it's you should say you're like it's so funny how that works, how we're like, it's weird to LARP as a different person, but if you create an AI bot that you create that image from nothing that doesn't exist, everyone's like, wow, the innovation. But like, you can like, and that's the difference here is that I think people like it. First of all, the LARPing as women thing is weird. Like, but it's like, you know, if you LARP is, just call it what it is. We're in crypto. It's a very male dominated industry. If you are LARPing as an attractive woman, it's shooting fish in a barrel for some people, right? Like it just is. And so I understand why people do it. It's weird to me. It's not my journey. Obviously, I'm a middle-aged man, but it's weird. The other one that happened, let's just call it what it is. Doxson posted about it because I know that CryptoPain said Doxson started calling people out, people out before Vo. It's wild she started copying him. Like, I think it's fine if more people call people out. But Doxson Wizard, Amy Smart has been on the show. Like Amy, she's a nice person. She posts images from Pinterest and Instagram and other things as if now they are not her. There is one that's not her that is walking onto like a private jet that's from somewhere else. But like pictures of breakfast, it's like, GM starting day with a healthy breakfast. And it's a picture of a breakfast from Instagram. To Cap's point, if you want to create AI images, fine. But it's interesting that people create these curated personas. And to a degree, I feel bad for the people because they feel they have to curate an image that is untrue to who they are. Or kind of like almost like prune an image that is like special and not a realistic representation. And I just don't know why. Like, it's not like especially to your point from images that exist on the internet, it's just a reverse image search and you find these things and they're just not true. So I don't know, like authenticity is the most important thing that we've seen coming out of the past few years.
In the like Captain Advocate says, look at Zagabond's pass and how everyone just let that go for a bag. I'm not like saying any of this is good. I'm saying I understand why people do it. I understand that sex sells. An attractive female is probably more likely to get engagement than Steve or I. It's reality. It is what it is. I'm not saying it's right what Zagabond did. The difference for me is when you're stealing other people's images, to Steve's point, sooner or later, if someone thinks something's off, all they're going to do is do a reverse Google image search and you're caught. It's just like, to me, it's like the most left curve thing you could do in crypto. There's a bunch of, like, there's people on this app on X that if you post a picture in your house, there's a guy, I can't remember the name of the account, like within seconds, he can find your address. It's eerie, but that's the level of like, just like some of these people are just, they are sleuths. Like that's their thing that they enjoy, is finding out stuff on the internet. And I think it's even more so than general population here in crypto. Like, it's just like if you're a man stealing pictures of another woman to LARP as that woman, just know that, okay, you'll probably build up a large following. You'll probably get some brand deals. Sooner or later, you're going to get caught. And then what happens to those brand deals? Conversely, if you spend $20 and create an AI image of a woman that you want to LARP as, when you get called out as an AI agent, like, it's just, I don't know. Stop being lazy and stealing other people's images would be my advice. I'm not saying the other way is right. I'm just saying, it's just, I can't comprehend why someone would go that way when they've seen people get called out. Like, do you think Dashing Wizard is going to stop? It's probably part of his thing now. Like, every day he's probably waking up and, who can I find today that's a man LARPing as a woman? Like, you're going to get caught.
Yeah, it's just
I'll tell you guys why, if you want the answer.
No, go ahead. I was going to toss to Jack, let you answer, then we'll go to Joey in a minute here.
I was going to say, like, it was pre like AI's ability to really do this effectively. Like, this, a lot of these accounts, they did build some version of an audience, like GMs, just copying trends, copy and paste. It was all stealing. It was either stealing posts or stealing like a ways to like grow. But all of that was done, like, some of these accounts have been like active, and I'm doing quotation marks here, for years. So I think that's why. And I would also say those same people will probably have 15 or 20 AI accounts now, but they're just pumping the oil whilst it's still, whilst the field is still full of oil, however you would explain that. Like, that's all that's happening right now. And yeah, I think they will probably get sued by some of these brands, but that's if they even know who they are to sue them, which I doubt.
That's it. Meshmass asks, what's the consequences of getting caught? Nothing really. See, I think maybe, like, to Steve's point, like, I don't think you can get caught. If there's any attorneys that actually know this, I don't think it's actual crime to steal someone else's picture and pretend it's yours. I don't think that's that. Like, I think you got to actually do something other than that to get slapped with like identity theft or something. I don't know though. So if anyone does, please jump up and educate us here. I do think the risk, though, the consequences is maybe not, but if I'm that brand I was referencing earlier that is planning to go public, I certainly would be firing the KOL that we're paying that we now found out is a man. Because it's a lie. Like, they're masquerading as something they're not. It is dishonest.
The problem,
very different than me masquerading as a ape, because I'm not saying this is my human identity. It's who I am online. These people are saying this is who I am online. That is also who I am in real life. And that's just not accurate.
My problem is, I think we think so short. I think because we're always thinking, what's the next airdrop? What's good? The next 10x runner? All the things we think about in this space. I think that we sometimes overestimate that long-term consequences matter. And look, if you are able to build up money in a short term and it works and that's great, yada, great, awesome, congratulations. Personally, I have always played the long game, and maybe it's not going to work out for me, or maybe it's not right, or maybe it's whatever. Like, I'm certainly not rich or getting rich anytime soon off it. But like, I think people in this space sometimes underestimate what those short-term things can mean and how those can matter and how your past doesn't go away and what that look. I mean, like again, people went through. They were like, "Hey, Zagabond did a bunch of projects. It didn't work. He at one time LARPed as a woman. Didn't work. You know, like I personally don't currently hold any Azuki things. Like, and that's fine. I like to use this as an example. Like that may hurt him down the line with large anime brands. It is possible that large anime brands will say, we're going to build this ourselves because we don't want to work with someone who has this past, right? Like that can happen. We see people in major large organizations, you know, in large institutions get released or fired. I mean, a guy named George O'Leary got hired from Georgia Tech to somewhere else. I forget where it was, like a coach, maybe it was Alabama, I want to say. And they found out that he had a bunch of lies on his resume and it wasn't real. And look, the guy had coached, he had done well. He got fired. Like people do have consequences. I'm not saying that'll happen to Zagabond or anybody else, but my point being, I think people underestimate that down the line, unless you are really immensely talented or bringing something incredible to the table, people will look and be like, okay, we could work with that creator or we can work with this creator who hasn't done that. And I think that makes a massive difference. And I think people underestimate what brands will think and do. But Joey Vowles, saw your hand flap. Let's get Joey Vowles in here, and then we got to probably get a more you know and a update in before we get POG on here. We could always do it after they get off, but I know POG's coming on in about, I think about 5 to 7 minutes. So Joey, get in here, GM.
GM, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend. So I wanted to go back to the Xeet or X, whatever it is thing. You know, one thing I don't see people talking about is kind of weird that Pons is launching a meme coin called Grind that's supposed to be like this. I'm guessing it's like it's a joke / not really on like, you know, you gotta, you know, grinding for your money and grinding for stuff. And then he comes out with an InfoFi platform that, and obviously it's not just his, right? I believe he has partners. I from what I can tell, I think Scotty and oh my God, why am I drawing a blank right now? The guys behind Bearish and GripChain, Tolly, that I believe Scotty and Tolly are involved, like as the devs and stuff like that. But like it's funny to me, like it's like we're promoting the hell out of this meme coin called Grind that's supposed to be launching soon, right? And now all of a sudden, let's launch an InfoFi platform that's not supposed to be about grinding, but ends up being about grinding, while also, and I'm going to say it, right? While also having the plague, while also having making coffee, while also having, there was another one. Like,
I understand where you're going. And go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Finish your thought. This is rude.
No, I was just going to say, like, it like, and I said this, and I said it in private, in in the Discord, and I'll say it now. Like, it just feels like Pons chases trends, and I don't feel like anything that he's like at this point. And obviously, it takes time to build businesses, so I'm not judging. But like, we don't see him talk about making coffee that much anymore. We don't see him like the Plague launched an incubator, and they launched Hen House, and he was all big into supporting that, and so now it's meme coin, and now it's an InfoFi platform. Like, what are we doing?
So I don't want to speak for Pons. I hope you can make it back Wednesday when he joins us. I would just say this. This is my opinion. Has Pons launched several different things? Yes. He's still here. I respect that. I respect it. I respect Pons a million times more than the Tally Labs guys. Tally Labs raised $20 million. They tried a few things. It didn't work. And they left the industry and left us all bag holding their NFTs. Pons isn't giving up. Like, whatever he started building with Plague, making coffee. Yes, he's still building, making coffee, but they pivoted how they were building it. He realized it wasn't going to do exactly what he thought. And so it's still there. He's still building it. But he recognized by itself, it's not enough to make it a going concern in this industry. So he's continuing to, could you call it trend chasing? I guess. But at the same time, as a startup entrepreneur in a novel industry, for all intents and purposes, when tens of thousands of people launch NFT projects in 2021, 2022, and we could probably count on our fingers and toes, the like, not even joking, the ones that are actually still viable. And that's too mean. There's a lot more. I shouldn't just focus. But point is, 99% of them didn't just go to zero. They left. A lot of them left with millions of dollars. Instead of just leaving when things got hard, he's continuing to search for product market fit. Does he hit it one day? Maybe. Does he throw in the towel one day and say, I'm done with this? Maybe. But I understand what you're saying. I just will give him grace. And I would rather him do this. I respect this greatly than just saying, hey guys, I know y'all got equity in the plague. I really thought I could build something special with y'all. It just didn't work. I'm going to go back to my Web 2 business. And this is just art now.
I think Joey is a fair point. I think Joey.
Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
I was gonna say, like, I actually think I'll defend you, Joey. I think you have a fair point. I think, again, I like Pods isn't a shot at him, but I think you make a fair point to say, like, you know, Pons is kind of railed against meme coins and he's dropping a meme coin and he's trying to say he's doing it a better way. So we'll see how that goes out. We haven't seen that play out. He says InfoFi is too noisy and then he creates a noisy InfoFi platform. So I think Joey's point is, like, there's a lot of things going on here. And if you it's the old, old proverb. If you chase two rabbits, you won't catch one. And I think right now we do have, like, we've got Plague, we've got when Goods, we've got making coffee, we've got a meme coin, we've got a launcher. It's like, it almost feels like Pons has attention and he's like, look, it's time for me to use that attention for something that is beneficial. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. And, like, if people are happy with the products it's using, that's fine. But I think Joey's point's fair. Like, I don't think it's an either or to say, like, oh, well, these people, their business failed and they left and nobody cared and they should have worked harder. Like, I think there's something to be said about, like, when we talk to Garga on this show, he wakes up every day thinking about this thing and wakes up every day thinking about, they're divesting specifically to concentrate on the most important things. And, like, and then a cool part about Pons.
That is exactly what I was going to say. We give Yuga so much shit for all the stuff that they tried to do, and now they're divesting all of it to focus on one thing. Is this not what Pons is doing?
Yeah, and I guess, like, that's, like, the thing is that it's like, I'm not saying he can't do it, and we'll see, but it's like, I am curious, like, his community seems happy with it, which is all that matters, right? But, like, if his community's sitting here saying, like, I just, like, my question is, like, if you're his community, are you, like, super stoked on this? That this is happening because maybe you're going to be involved and you're going to get some advantages in the system. Are you not super stoked? I mean, the frogs seem perfectly happy. They were coming for my throat when I was saying that it was a bad, noisy campaign. But I don't know.
Like, I'm not anti Pons. Like, I don't have any issues with him. Like, I think, to Cap's point, yes, he's not leaving. He's continuing to build. Like, I have no personal, like, issues with him as a founder or a person. I'm just trying to understand and hold him to the same accountability that we have so many other projects and founders with, like, what is your focus? What are you doing? Where are we going with this? Like, why are we being pulled in so many different directions? How can you possibly manage all of these different things? Now, maybe Xeet, and like I said, Xeet is, I know Scotty and
this is important because I think this is what is not many people are giving credit for. For all we know, it's the other two are the main people that are building out Xeet, and Pons was just, they reached out and they wanted to partner with, and yeah, it makes sense. If they reach out to me and said, hey, we're building this InfoFi platform, we think it's going to revolutionize things, and we'd like to partner with you because you have attention, you got a community, sign me up, I'm in. We're like, I'm not blaming, like, I don't know how, like, we're making a lot of assumptions that we don't know, and I'm not going to fault someone for being active in the space and doing more things, which I believe. Is there some personal selfish motivations? Maybe, but I also see everything. There's also an effort to take care of, reward the community, and I respect that. Like, I don't think there is this is the way you have to build in crypto playbook. Then there's only one way to do it, and keep swinging the bat until you hit one.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be Scotty. And again, you're right. And maybe Pons will explain more, like, how he's involved in all of these things and how he distributes his time and what his plan is, because I think that's important if you're going to follow somebody and believe in them. And you're right. Maybe Tolly and Scotty are the ones behind this, and Pons is just the quote unquote, like, social figurehead because he has, so much reach and people trust him or whatever. And maybe he's not really ever going to work there, right? Or have any real involvement. But I think that matters when we talk about a list of at least 5 things that he's involved with building, tried to do, etc., to figure out like, should we be backing somebody? Because no offense to, I know everyone likes to talk about how successful Kevin Rose is, but the guy is like a serial entrepreneur. To me, that's not the most.
Who are these
it's
people?
not
Who are these people saying Kevin Rose is successful? I kid.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah,
he did.
Right.
He was
like
very successful one time in preventing a raccoon from killing his dog. I will give him that.
I just think we have to be careful. Like, as we've seen in the past with people that get involved with things and then never follow through. And I'm not saying Pons isn't going to follow through. I'm just saying that like history repeating itself with people that continually jump from something to something to something, but then that one thing before never actually follows all the way through and finishes. And so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's do this. Jack, we're going to talk POG here in a minute. So let's go ahead and let Jack get in here real quick, and then we will flip over to revisit my childhood and get a little bit into revisit my childhood and my current life all in one interview. It'll be cool. Jack, go ahead and get in here.
Now, look, I've loved the conversation. I love what Joey brought up. I'm more aligned with Steve and Joey, aside from Cap here, on like, look, you do what you want in this space, of course, but at a certain point in time, you are leveraging the building of that NFT project and the audience that you've accumulated and the value that has brought. And just rephrase it this way. Would you still be happy with Pons taking as many shots as he would like without value being directly pushed back to the plague and then the plague getting negatively impacted by that? Because I think that's what we have to think about when these things are being built is like, okay, this is separate from the community. Great, people can do more than one thing at one time. But when you're doing it in exactly the same industry and you're leveraging the reputation that you've built predominantly by building an NFT project and the community around that project, at a certain point, you have to look at the value that does bring back to the community. And if it's a net neutral and that's something you want to do, fine. If you actually feel it's going to bring you more attention and leverage in the future, which I assume is what Pons is doing this for, and value that you can then bring back to the plague in an abstract sort of way, then absolutely fine as well. But when you start making these plays and it does become just like, okay, how many more times can he do this where it won't negatively start impacting the community that's been built, because they will just ask, hey, how can you possibly have any time to build out the thing that you say you're still building out when you're doing all of these other things as well? Or you just need to be more it's fucking 101, right? Like communication, like, why is this not being more forwardly communicated that, look, this is how this all ties in together, or it doesn't in any way tie in together. This is just a side project. I'm not super heavily involved, but I do hate InfoFi. I think it impacts the space that I am working in. And if I have an opportunity to add value to that space, that's going to impact the space I predominantly am focused at. That's why I have done this thing. So hopefully on Wednesday, you can clarify some of that stuff for us. But yeah, I don't think it's quite like you can take as many shots as you like when you have like this one project that is connected so heavily to it. The same way Elon tweeting a meltdown isn't great for Tesla stockholders. Like there is an extent to it which you can push it too far, and I think Pons without an explanation is getting to that point.
Yeah, it's shiny object syndrome, and that's what it comes down to. Is like InfoFi is hot right now. Let's do InfoFi. Meme coins are hot right now. Let's do meme coins. It's like that's the thing that I think people are worried about. I'm not saying it's the case. We'll ask Pons about that on Wednesday. I'll ask him specifically about shiny object syndrome. But it's like, it's like what we say about like all these different things. It's like taking the shots you can, and delivering on what you promised is fine. And then you say, look, I delivered on what I promised. But I think there's two conversations of, is there anything wrong with it if you deliver on everything you promised, and that's how the space should work, and you're trying different things? And is it something that makes people comfortable if you continue to do it? And I think those are two separate questions. And we can revisit this after, because I think there's a whole conversation about influencer pumps as well. That goes into this conversation, but that's a whole different ball game. Let's do this. We're going to play the ApeChain Architect song. We're going to get POG on stage. Excited to talk about this one because I think it ties together a lot of things that we have we're talking about in ApeChain, and gets a fun builder on stage.
Spark the flame, ignite the chain. ApeChain Architect.
GMGM, excited to talk a little bit of POG. I actually think, Tech G, we actually might have met at VCon a couple years ago. I don't know if you recall, but I was at a Starbucks, and I believe it was you who handed me a POG, and I said, "Pogs?" And you're like, "Oh, Pogs, we're coming." I want to say it was you. I'm not positive, though, because I do remember it was vague. I was working for Starbucks Odyssey at the time, so I was moving really quickly and trying to pay for a bunch of drinks. But GM, how you doing on this fine Monday morning to start? I know you've been traveling.
Good, my man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was me. Happy to be on the show. Big fan. Been following you guys for a while. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. So, look, I mean, we've come a long way since VCon 1, I believe that was, where you handed me a POG. My childhood was filled with slammers and POGs and winning and distributing, and here we are coming full circle to the world I'm in now. Give a little bit of your background and how you ended up with POG doing this.
Yeah, so I found crypto lucky back in like 2012. I was working at a bank, met this super sharp kid who was like 19, bachelor's degree in computational neuroscience, was getting his doctorate, and got super inspired about Bitcoin. I'd watched so many people kind of get shafted by banks. Old ladies get their whole retirement check taken because one overdraft and the cost of sending money Western Union and all those things, and just seeing peer-to-peer transactions and how big it could be, and got really excited and moved into tech and worked there for about 15 years doing recruitment and staffing. Got to work at companies like Google and Unity and Rivian, helped IPO Rivian, but was really passionate about blockchain even at Unity, led the research there in 2017 for blockchain, and we discovered how hard it is to create an interoperable gaming ecosystem. So that was my big, I guess, passion after we IPO'd Rivian. My brother was running like a $800 million private equity fund investing in VCs. And so he and I reached out to the POG owners. And 2 weeks later, we had a direct subsidiary with the exclusive rights to do anything we wanted with the POG brand. So it's been a great ride. And we launched that in like 2022.
Why POG? Like what brought you to POG?
For so many reasons, but essentially it can go across barriers. So the fact that it has partnered with everybody from Barbie to Marvel and the NHL and Power Rangers and Pokemon means that those assets can be found in any game. And then the idea essentially was that gamers only care about the assets from the games they play. And if you win an asset inside of World of Warcraft or whatever game it might be, the only people who want to buy that are other players. And POG is a collectible first and foremost. And so if you can do it right, then there will be value outside of the games that they're found in. So trying to create a very balanced ecosystem that's healthy for collectors and for gamers who find the assets in games and then sell them to the collectors who don't have time to play the game. So that interoperability of brand is something that you can't really find anywhere else in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, talk about how you are combining, I guess, the idea of this digital and physical. POG is a physical game. A lot of us played it growing up. You remember the heavy slammers. You remember the POGs themselves. Ones that flip over, you get to take. The ones that stay up, you get to keep. It was like a fun. It was almost me being a degenerate gambler before I got to actually be a degenerate gambler. So how are you tying those two things in from a digital and a physical perspective?
Well, first of all, we wanted to keep that exact same experience alive. You bring your NFTs, I bring mine, we stack them up and we play a game for chance and skill, and whatever you flip, you keep. We've also integrated some physical to digital stuff. So on the back of every new POG, there is a QR code, and it will take you to either your NFT it was built from, maybe it's a one-on-one that's authenticated on a blockchain. We've got some stuff with Coca-Cola, or maybe it's just opening you up a new crypto wallet where you can receive airdrops or new collectibles or whatever. And then we have, for the adult in you, we've got these golden slammers and solid silver slammers, solid gold slammers, and so forth. And this is a Bitcoin one that just hot off the press, just landed in the office. It's got a 90s 90s design. They were 90s slammers, and then circuit board behind it, and then the Bitcoin logo. And we've got one with Magic Eden. We did the POG logo from the 90s. We have a PogCoin, which you couldn't get anywhere else outside of being a holder. And then we've got all these experiences just for holding digital collectibles. You get daily loot packs that have, $250,000 in prizes. We've got a mutant ape in there right now, and we've got cryptocurrencies. We've got autograph merchandise from the Alpine F1 team, and we've given away signed boxing gloves from Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and autograph cards, and just a ton of really fun stuff. And all you have to do is, you don't even have to hold NFTs from POG to be able to get those free loot packs. Just participate in daily quests. But if you do have collectibles, you're going to get, maybe 10, 20, 100 loot packs a day. And people have won upwards of $5,000 through multiple prizes. And it's been super fun to just rekindle that collectability, that nostalgia, the trading. The NFT world is so much, kind of an echo of what we did in the playground, and just trying to do it the right way and help rekindle that nostalgia for a lot of us.
One of the real quick, Cap, one of the most, I'll let you get the question in here, but hilarious commentary there where you said you could win a boxing glove from Jake Paul or Mike Tyson, and depending on your age and when you discovered POG, one of those is more exciting than the other. For the boomers like me, it's Mike Tyson. For a bunch of people in their 20s, they're probably like, I don't need this old ear-biting man. Give me the Jake Paul glove. So it's kind of funny how like the delta of that actually is like, it's almost the perfect metaphor for what you're doing with POG, that you have a Jake Paul and a Mike Tyson signed glove. Is like, it almost represents both eras. But Cap, I know you're going to get into the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Tech G, I was going to say, I also shared the announcement about NFT NYC, collaboration with Jeff Staple and ApeCoin. I pinned that up top. No obligation. If you want to jump on stage with the POG account, that if anyone's looking for it, you're welcome to do so. Just leave that on mute. And while we're waiting, if anyone is wanting to, go follow the POG account, just check the pin post up top. Yeah.
But, as you're doing that, I mean, it's really interesting the way that you're sort of putting these pieces together. Like, I love seeing it, and I love the way it's coming together, and I love that POG is entering this space. Before we get into getting involved and how people can actually get involved, we are sponsored by ApeChain. Why Ape? And then give that a mute, or sometimes you have to put headphones in. It's all tricky, but that way people can follow. So the POG account is on stage. You should be following the POG account if you're not. Again, this isn't like some Sally come lately thing. I mean, the POG account is quite literally, like I said, like VCon 1 3 years ago or whatever, handed me a POG and talked about it. But why ApeChain? What drove you to ApeChain?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So we've actually had experiences on 5 or 6 chains. We've got small collections on Ethereum, Solana. We were the first brand to create a Bitcoin ordinal at 126,000. And then we've got domains on Polygon, and we've got our own test chain, POG chain on Theta. And so each of the chains has had kind of its own utility. One of our co-founders / founding advisors is Matt Sorg. He's head of technology at Solana Labs. And the other one is Janie Persini. She is currently the head of collectibles at eBay, was the GM at NBA Top Shot. And so we had relationships at Dapper. We had relationships at Solana. We had a lot of great relationships around the ecosystem when we kind of started out. And we've had great experiences and not so great experiences on different chains. But the reason ApeChain was so exciting for us is because of the demographic. A lot of 30 to 45-year-olds who remember the brand very clearly, who got into collecting through POGs, and maybe even have POGs still in their family house or on their desk even. And the collector's mentality is alive and well on ApeChain. It is not just, a flipper's mentality necessarily. And I think it's proven just incredibly positive to join ApeChain because of those reasons, especially with the other side coming and all of the things that they're doing to enhance. And ApeChain's so young, transactions are very, very fast there, and that was the biggest requirement for our EVM implementations. But the biggest reasons are the people who are making up the ApeChain community is our age and super collector focused. So it's been a lot of fun.
I felt like we got called old there, Steve, but it's okay. I'll take it.
I'm in the same age group, so I'm just repeating what the young guys tell us.
Boomers.
Yeah, exactly. We're crypto boomers. I don't know how that happened, but well, what's crazy, 28 to 50 is 50% of crypto. And so
really, say that again.
28 to 50 is 50% of crypto.
What? How much of that is 28 to 29? What do you know what it goes if you go 30 over 30?
No, I haven't dissected that exact stat, but I was pretty blown away.
I am blown away right now. Yeah, I was not expecting half to be north of 28, but
yeah.
I mean, probably a lot of the old Bitcoiners, a lot of the OGs, a lot of people who are in crypto, but not necessarily on CT.
Oh yeah, not in NFTs probably. And a lot of the guys and gals who made their money early in 2015s, 2017s aren't going to be on crypto Twitter, or on YouTube. They're paying attention, but they're probably not making content. They're definitely enjoying their gains. And I've got some not fun stories for me, but fun stories to share. Mount Gox hack, like mining Bitcoin on Butterfly Labs and all of these things, and being told by my, $1 billion fund brother, don't touch Bitcoin with a 10-foot pole. And the rest of my family, I was scraping up coins just to get to work at that time, just to pay for gas. So not a lot of money to buy Bitcoin. And I wish I would have. I remember almost selling my iPad for 300 Bitcoin. I know I would have sold it along the way for other reasons, but it's fun to think about.
Awesome. How do people want to, like, if someone wants to get involved, so they're like, all right, like POG reminds me of my childhood, or this is awesome. You've got this whole sort of, sort of POG Digital Hub. Talk about what that is and how people can get involved and the different levels and ways they can get involved.
Yeah, the hub is revolutionary in my opinion, man. You just create an account and all you have to do is follow our activities. You can play our game when it comes out here in July. You can collect if you want to. We have collectibles that are pretty low cost, even under $1 sometimes. And they get you daily loot packs. And so all you have to do is just participate, and you'll have shots every single day at winning something, whether it's NFTs from POG. We've given away tons of Solana NFTs, Meebits. What do we got? Kid Called Beast. We've given out Degen Apes, Cyber Frogs, a bunch of stuff, man. And we love to support communities. And so right now we have, I think, 8 communities on ApeChain where they're giving away keywords, and you can get packs for the mutant ape. And then starting in June, we're going to have a creators contest. So the top 6 on the leaderboard will get to make a physical POG and digital POG with us for ApeFest. And then we're going to pick 6 creators throughout the ecosystem to create their own physical POG as well. And every season we'll probably do something similar so that we can really start bringing people into the fold. And that was one of the first things we did, bringing physicals back, is we made, what we make? I think 600 boxes or something like that with NFT projects from Neo Tokyo to Crypto Kitties and Karafuru, D-Gods, even Jeff Ong or Josh Ong's Bored Ape. So it's been a labor of love. I am definitely a crypto degen at heart. I love NFTs and I love communities and everything in between. I'm not the biggest fan of influencer rugs, but everything else in the crypto space I absolutely love. And so bringing the physical version of their creations to life is something I'm super passionate about. And then we've got partnerships with companies like Care Bears and Dr. Seuss and Smurfs and some other ones, companies like them. We do have one with the Care Bears that will be dropping in July, but the rest have to stay hypothetical. And then some really great partnerships in the media world who are bringing us into some really interesting places that we'll start sharing over the next couple months.
A quick question on that. I wish I could share the abstract chat, first of all, because you're getting a lot of love over there. Diablito says, I've been doing those POG quests and getting the mutant packs. This is how I'm getting my mutant. I'm rooting for you, Diablito. Go get it. We don't have to answer this now, but I am going to have to come back to it because I'm not the only one that is in awe of your setup. Katie says the setup behind Tech G is insane. We're going to have to learn more about that here in a minute. But when you talk about, sorry, I got distracted by the chat, Steve. I'm going to rewind my brain.
Well, let me ask this. You talked about Care Bears and all these other brands.
Sorry,
Cap short-circuited. Go ahead, Cap.
Perfect. When you're talking about these collaborations, these brand partnerships, is that you guys? Is that the POG parent brand that you license it from? I was just curious, how are it's quite frankly, it's a lot. And I understand you might have a little edge because POGs is a known commodity, but who's doing all that biz dev? Is that your team? Is that the parent company?
That's us. We're essentially the operational arm of the POG IP. So my co-founder, his name's Julian Savino. He owns the majority of the POG IP. It's a single entity under POG Unlimited, where it's lived since 1993. It's gone through the hands of one of the coolest billionaires in the world, in my opinion. He passed away a couple of years ago, but his name, Gary Winnick, he laid the fiber optic cable between North America and Europe, and was one of the fastest men to be. He, for a very long time, was the fastest man to become a billionaire, and he actually kept the POG brand intact over 25 years. And so all of the biz dev is coming through us. And we're really proud of that. It's been a tremendous amount of work to get it up and running. We're the only revenue generating entity for the IP at the moment, and it was all bootstrapped from the money I made IPOing Rivian. And if anything, it'll hopefully be part of my legacy to have brought back something we care so much about, and it has not been easy. Companies can rug you just like a community can, unfortunately, and we've gone through a lot of ups and downs, but again, it's a labor of love, and I absolutely don't want to be the guy that ruins the brand, so I stay up very late and work very, very hard just to make sure that we are honoring this thing. But yeah, all of the new partnerships are coming through technically POG Digital, which is the subsidiary of POG Unlimited. So we structured it just like that, to own all of the IP ourselves and have those exclusive rights digitally, and then we can make anything we want physically, but we don't own the exclusive rights on the physicals. That's our parent company.
I love it. Congratulations. It is truly impressive. Do you think more entrepreneurs should go this route? We see it. It's like so common in movies, like repurposing existing IP. Do you think is this like beyond POGs? Do you think others should look at like nostalgic items from childhood in an attempt to bring it back? I know it's probably easier said than done. I'm assuming it's different with everyone, but do you think would you like to see more do this?
If they do it the right way, as crypto folks, we've watched so many brands, especially, do you remember the Toys R Us thing? We've watched Recur come in, make $40 million, and a year later fail.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, this is the other side of it, not done well, right?
Absolutely, and it's tragedy in so many ways, because for so many of us, like, do you remember the Ninja Turtles rug, where like hundreds of thousands, millions of us were ready for this drop, and turns out they didn't even have the IP, and so I think, like, we've had, just personally, with the help of Justin Kahn and his partner over at Fractal, and they own this other VC company, but their advice was like, go do this for other brands. And so we had a lot of conversations with folks at Spin Master for Tech Deck and some other IPs about kind of bringing them back in the right way. But POG is so great because Spin Master and Tech Deck wanted to make POGs. Like, they were more interested in making collectibles with us than even making their own digital ecosystem or collectibles based blockchain ecosystem. And so it probably is a lot harder for other brands to make it happen, because they can't bring all of this IP in to keep it fresh. And that's what we loved about POG as kids. I would love to see like Trolls come in and create their own metaverse, and people own their own IP. And I think for mass, for a lot of the retail, or for a lot of the folks who aren't crypto native or aren't open to it yet, it's going to take something like that, maybe a Trolls POG or a Care Bears POG, to bring like the soccer moms in and start collecting. Street Fighter and Marvel coming along on POGs, that'll help bring in the traditional collectors. And I would love to see these brands come in and give ownership to their fans and create that deeper connection. And so, you know, one of our partners is responsible for bringing not Care Bears, but Build-A-Bear from like $3 a share to $50 a share. They own the IP and were responsible for bringing Bad Guys to to the screen. And they sold, the Real Housewives to Bravo. And so these guys are bringing us some of the biggest brands in the world, so that we can partner with them and put their IP back on POGs. And like Sony Music and Sonic the Hedgehog, they would never have done blockchain collectibles. They said, like, they didn't think it was moral because they didn't know how to create, they didn't understand the high transaction blockchains. They thought it was all Bitcoin and bad for the environment. But what they are open to, and they were very quick on, is creating POG collectibles, whether it was digital or physical. And so it for us, we're lucky because it bridges that gap, instant recognition and understanding of what we're doing. But for a lot of these brands, I don't think it would be as easy. And we've had a lot of hardships. A lot of people have been like, fuck POG, because it's a big brand and they're coming into Web3. They don't understand the culture, and they didn't realize that we absolutely understand the culture, and we've been rugged more times than most. So just as holders of different things. So anyways, that long way of saying I would absolutely love to see more IP in if they do it right.
Is there what do these IPs? You're talking about these big brands. You're talking about Care Bears and Build-A-Bear and all these big brands, like different big brands. I know Care Bears is the one you worked with. Some other ones that you said are coming down the pike. What are these big brands thinking when they see you're trying to work in crypto and the blockchain? Because crypto and the blockchain don't have the best reputation, but you're talking to these major properties. How do you bridge that conversation? Because that's one that I regularly have to have, and sometimes I struggle with, sometimes it goes well. How do you bridge those conversations?
It's POGs. It's POGs. Like, there's not a lot after that needs to be said. We typically only work with people who remember the brand. You have to be a 30 to 50-year-old executive at these companies to really see what we bring, because unless you're in like the Philippines, where POG is still a big thing, then you didn't experience it if you were under or over our age target. And so it really is as easy as saying we're making digital collectibles for a digital collectibles ecosystem in games. And from there, they are much more open to like, oh, it's a blockchain. How does that work? Oh, it's a distributed ledger. That's all that it means. It's an open database. It's transactable and owned by the user. And so the two main points we hit are it's POG, and it's owned by the collector. And then we go through like, what if you owned this thing in this game, next game comes out, you don't own it anymore, you have to go buy it again, and things like that. And so it's been very easy for them to understand making collectibles. So like the senior vice president at Sony Music, he said, we were at CAA, we had just given a great talk to like all of the big executives at some of the biggest companies, from Netflix to Nike, Roblox, all, CAA pulled us all in, and I got to give a keynote. And he said, imagine this building is a snake, and all of these walls are the constricting and closing in, and nobody will realize it until it's too late. And he said, looking at for your business from the top and looking at it from the bottom, he said, you're the snake. Nobody's going to realize it until you've completely constricted. And looking back, they're going to say, this is exactly what we wanted to build with the IP and the digital and the physical and all of the brands. And it was because he wanted to put, he wanted to revive album art. Album art has not been a thing since we were kids, right? Like, you got a CD, you got the album cover, or even before that, your parents had vinyl and they all loved the album covers. He wanted to use POGs as an album cover. And then we've got even more innovative musicians who said, well, put a QR code or an NFC chip in there and tap it and open up the album digitally. And so these brands understand POGs. They might not understand blockchain in any way. They might be scared about a crypto rug. They might be scared about the fluctuation and volatility of prices, but they understand digital collectibles and they understand POGs. So just being able to say, like, let's make POGs. You have no obligation to manage a community because POG will manage the community. You have no obligation to manage utility because POG will manage utility, but we can do it many ways. We can sell packs, we can airdrop, we can do all of these things. And maybe your airdropped POG is a coupon to go buy something. And like the conversations we had with Starbucks, Odyssey, is imagine you flip a POG and it's a Starbucks POG and now you get 30% off or 50% off your coffee every week. And there's real physical utility. You can flip one of these and burn it and claim the digital or claim the physical. So it is a lot easier for them to wrap their head around when there's this major IP that is responsible for it. And so now they're just entering into the digital physical realm of POGs. It's not as risky and they're not responsible. So I think if like a lot of these brands, Porsche or Dolce Gabbana or Toys R Us, if they would have made POGs, they'd still be alive. Maybe they wouldn't have made as much money, but they would still have an asset on chain that is playable. And that's the number one thing is like, we wanted to create an ecosystem of assets where game developers all around the world could build with POG assets. We aren't going to be responsible for building games 5 years from now. We'll create phenomenal collectibles with game developers and IPs, but we have an SDK that will come out next summer where Unity and Unreal developers can build in the exact same way they're already building, but with Web3 assets. And so that's the number one philosophy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you saw, Steve, we just had a world champion join us on stage. I'm assuming you're Chris on the team or no?
Chris is definitely on the team. He is he's so much more than the world POG champion, but he does hold the title, and he has been the perfect steward for a global renaissance, and he's traveled to a number of countries. He'll be with us in New York City this week, and he represents the brand extremely well. But he will have his title put on the line later here at Ape Fest, I think, and we'll see if he can hold it for another year.
Steve, are you in the running for you going for the title belt?
I got some practicing to do, but I think I could probably swing it if I need to. I used to slam some POGs back in my day, but I love that. Your point that you made there, which I think is such an important thing, is that people lack the idea that something familiar is so important to get people to bridge the gap to this like complete shift in mentality of the digital world, of digital assets and items. POG is familiar, physical items are familiar. And so when you go to them and you say, look, you don't have to worry about us like selling some cryptocurrency, it's a POG. And then there's going to be some digital things to it, but your kids probably play, like you talk to an adult, their kids probably play on things like Roblox and Minecraft, so they understand what digital assets are. And by the way, it's tied to an asset that you know and love. So I think that familiarity is something that we often underestimate when we're getting from point A to point B. So let me ask this, like, if you wanted people to take action today who are listening to say like, hey, well, this is the thing you could do to start getting involved. You want to win a mutant ape. Here's how you could start doing it. What should people do today who are listening right now?
Oh, just go to hub.pogdigital.com, hub.pogdigital.com, and open an account and start collecting. Start collecting packs because they're free just for activities and quests, and you can climb the leaderboard. Be ready for July 1st because that starts the new season, and you can climb the leaderboard, and the top of the leaderboard, top 1,000, get an airdrop of PogCoin every single season. But this next season, you'll also be able to represent with your favorite image, your PFP, your brand on a physical POG. And there'll be about 2,500 of those created, along with 5 others on that sheet of POG. So and you'll have to have collectibles. You'll have to run the whole gamut to be able to climb that leaderboard. Our top holders are the ones who are up there. So this is their opportunity to finally get on a POG. But if you don't want to spend any money, you can jump in and you can compete as questing, and then when the game comes up, you can play for free, and you can actually get your first pack of POGs digitally and compete with your friends and try and win their rare POGs and so forth. And we've got POGs that go for upwards of $5,000. We've got POGs that go for 50 cents. So should be pretty easy for people to get involved, and each of them have a daily reward inside of our hub, regardless of which POG you own. So should be really easy. But if you have questions, the Discord is the place to be. We've got luckily like 120,000 people in there, and we've got a really good group of regulars who will guide you through anything you need to know. But it is so much a community thing. yeah, it really quick story, man. When we were pitching VCs 2021, late 2021, early 2022, and the first question they'd ask is, tell us about your community. Wait, we built a demo, we built a web, like a white paper. What do you mean? We don't have a community yet. And over the last 3 years, you realize the only thing you have is community, right? You build your IP, you build your thing, and it's how you treat those people. And dude, like, you see these skateboards, you see all of the stuff behind me. A lot of this gets shipped out by me personally on a daily basis. And it's because every single person is important. Every single person in that Discord, every single customer, it's their childhood, it's their nostalgia. Not only did they pay for these items, but it is carrying so much more sentimental value. And so if anything happens, we have to take care of it instantly. So the community is the thing I'm most proud of, because there are people in there who will put down everything they've got to walk you through how to collect, how to join that leaderboard, how to, be a part of this kind of renaissance of the brand. And, so there's people everywhere who will help you along the way, and they're not paid in any way. They're, most of them, volunteers, or they're just community members who absolutely love what we're doing.
I saw on the quest, one of the first quests is, connect your Twitch or follow Pogs on Twitch. Can you expand on that a little bit? Is there a content element to this? Or is it you're streaming competitions? What sort of content are you putting out there from the brand standpoint?
Great question. We'll do some like streaming on Twitch, but most of it is for streamers themselves. We'll give them keywords for every show where their audience can come in and get, limited edition loot packs or points or prizes. We actually have some really fun capabilities inside of our hub. We can reward Steam progress. So you get a game on Steam, and we can actually track your progress in those games and reward you for things. We've got stuff for Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out next year. We've got things for every new game, Red Dead, Redemption, and anything that you play that we want, we can reward you for your progress in that game. And same with Twitch streaming. We can reward you for how many minutes you've watched that stream for whoever we want to promote. We can reward you with keywords. We can do a number of different things, and it's fucking cool to see. But yeah, as far as like how much do we stream, not a lot. I've gotten farther away from it. It's so hard to be consistent. We're lucky to get to join these kinds of platforms and do the stream, but everything's still kind of being built in the air. So if you have any ideas, man, we would love to put our tech to work. One thing that we're really excited about is custom packs. So NFTs on Solana, Ethereum, ApeChain, Base, and a number of others, we can actually not only verify that you have that asset on any of those chains, but we can also reward you with custom packs from that community inside of the hub, daily rewards, points, and all that stuff. So it's becoming a business to business platform as well. But we use the Twitch thing to really like promote Twitch streamers who love POG, and mostly it's been Marbles on stream. We had a great partnership with them over the last year. Thousands of people have created packs or ripped packs from different streams, and we'll continue to just find top streamers or people who are passionate about our brand and give them things that they can reward their audience with.
I like that. I like that mix-in that you're doing there with sort of the combination of like actually like, hey, if you like the brand, give something. It's almost a classic creator partnership, but beyond our little world and our little neck of the woods. I want to go real quick too. I want to give Chris a chance to get in here with anything maybe to talk about. Then we'll let you get out of here in a second. But Chris, any other thing you wanted to add related to this? Because I know you popped on stage. You are a world champion, although it sounds like people are coming for the king. Anything you wanted to add here before we kind of get ready to wrap?
Honestly, man, appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to New York City and the ApeChain activation. It's going to be lit. I'm just here. I show out for POG as always, just to support the fam, represent the community. A lot of exciting things to come. Kyler, threw a lot of the juice at you guys. So just stay tuned. Be ready, man. POG's coming with it. Proof of work, proof of stake, proof of game. You know what it is. Player-owned gaming.
Muted, Steve.
I was going to say, Tech G, any thoughts, final thoughts, or things you want to let the audience know before we let you just skedaddle?
Yeah, I think the last thing is PogCoin. It wouldn't be fair to talk to leave you without kind of some alpha, right? That I haven't shared with anybody else in the world. In a partnership with ZoomX, the marketplace, we will be creating Pog Wallet and distributing some PogCoin to the first 10,000 people who open up an account and open up their Pog wallet, and they'll have weekly rewards of airdrops for holding PogCoin from new currencies that launch on ZoomX. ZoomX was founded by one of the founders from Bybit and already is a sponsor of the Haas F1 team. And so that'll be a fun way to provide utility on the coin side. And then we also have something that is super degen, pog.fun, very, very similar to pump.fun, but the idea is that for communities that are successful, that scale, they'll be able to create collectibles. So instead of just like getting to a market cap, selling your coins, and then leaving, we'll be able to commemorate. And essentially, it's just creating pogs. And the more collectors of that pog, the more likely you are to have a physical pog, a digital pog, and then even physical slammers. So a way for people to use PogCoin to create their own collectible. We were going to call it Pog Maker. And Milk Cap Maker and all these things. And right now it's called pog.fun, but it could change by the time that it comes out. But we're not necessarily going for like the true degen coin creation, more of like you create a pog, and the more people that collect it, the closer you'll get to creating it for all of them, and people buy it with PogCoin. So it'll be a fun way for people to get to create their own pogs. That's really the whole goal. And then PogCoin is the essence of our arcade, and we have all of our merchandise that you can only buy using PogCoin and so forth. So it's not necessarily a really speculative asset, but it is very much utility, even though our partners at these exchanges want to call it a meme coin. It was actually, Pogs is one of the very top used tickers on Pump Fun. I think there's over 300 coins that were Pogs created. So there is a huge demand for that. And we'll see. It's across 5 chains right now, but we've never created really a liquidity pool or really marketed it much. But ApeChain and Arbitrum are helping us create a liquidity pool when you bridge over, and it'll be used on the game. And then it's already available in like Coinbase wallet to transact and so forth. But anyways, that's the probably the most degen and the easiest thing to get into is just to buy some PogCoin, hold it, and get ready for your airdrops later this summer. But yeah, that's really it, man. Actually, ApeChain, last bit of alpha. If you are in NFT NYC, Captain already posted it. We have 6 pogs, a sheet of ApeChain pogs that will be available for collecting. All you have to do is walk up to the pog van out front of Jeff Staples event. You can play some pogs. If you flip 5 pogs, you get to pick from the 5 pog tier, just like a carnival game. However many pogs you flip, you get to pick items from that tier, whether it's gold slammers, unopened boxes of pogs, merchandise, anything like that. So come and join us there. It should be a lot of fun. And we will have a free NFT for anybody who can't be there in the POG game, ready for collecting. And we expect we've got about 3.5 million accounts wired up, ready to collect that POG. So we'll see if we can bring 1 million new wallets on chain onto ApeChain over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. That's our stretch goal. And from there, we have a lot of fun marketing opportunities. But, again, just a lot of respect for you guys, the professionalism that you bring to this space, the consistency that you've brought into this space, and the level of integrity that you do what you do with is admirable. And I'm not saying that as a guest. I'm saying that as a listener. I'm saying that as a person who is passionate about the Web3 space. So thank you guys for what you do. It cannot be overstated how valuable your approach to all of this is. And thank you for keeping this so professional and so fun. And I hope to see you guys on the TV, all across social medias as this ecosystem, as Web3 grows, because you are the people who should be representing. There's only a handful of spaces out there that do it at this level and this consistency. So not to, as they say, like glaze you up, but You definitely deserve the recognition, and it does not go unnoticed.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I mean, means a ton. It does mean a lot, and we appreciate it. And it's I mean, honestly, like, appreciate what you're doing as well. It's very thoughtful. It's not low effort. You don't have to be doing it based on some of the things you've done in your past, but it's sort of a passion project. So, thanks for continuing to push it forward. I would be surprised if I don't see you in New York City. So looking forward to that, and should be a fun week this week. So appreciate everything you're doing, and hopefully see you this week.
Absolutely. Yeah. Are you both going to be in New York City?
I'm not going to make this one, but I'll be there in spirit. We live in vicariously.
All right. We'll see if we can load up Steve with some stuff to bring back for you.
Love it. Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we'll see you there.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Right on.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Cap. Good stuff, Pog, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to going and meeting them in New York City, and playing a little Pogs, man. It's something I did a lot growing up. It was sort of early gambling that you were able to do, which was really fun. And I think for me, like, this is an exciting opportunity to see how a brand, like I mentioned, familiarity matters. And I think people underestimate like how being familiar can really help you bridge the gap to the space. It's like, we mentioned Starbucks Odyssey. It's like when Starbucks Odyssey came in, it's like people are like, oh, I buy coffee and I get something and that gets me something. Okay, cool. Like, that's a rewards program that makes sense. They weren't looking at it as NFTs or cryptocurrency or anything like that. And I think that's how a lot of these brands, and one of the sad parts about Nike is I think they were doing gated drops and things that made a lot of sense, and then kind of just fizzled out. Connect your Fortnite and all the other things, and then it kind of fizzled out. But I think the idea of badges, rewards, those sorts of systems, like, I think it really makes a lot of sense. And, Pog's one of those brands that old people, young people like and get involved in. So, it's the type of thing I can play with my kids. So fun times.
Yeah, no, agreed. Looking forward to seeing all they do. I think I probably just replaced my, my slots from 90cc daily activity that fell off. So I've got a new quest to my daily streaks folder now. So see if I can go take that mutant away from Diablito. Steve, we did have kind of a flurry of news come in. I don't know if you saw, but there's a few other things to hit on as well. Before I do that, just quick shout out as always. We love all the support and the tips. Tips were flowing today. Meta 8 on the banker bot here on X. Greatly appreciate that. Rare Ed, Be Epic, Trippy Lasers, Rocky, all making it rain in the abstract. It's almost as if it was my birthday today, Steve.
I know. Cap's cleaning up on my birthday.
We should have let you stream today for the birthday boy. So everyone has to remember tomorrow, a belated birthday gift to Steve, since y'all took care of me so well today. I greatly appreciate it. I joke, but greatly not joking on the appreciation. I really do appreciate the tips and supports, whether it's one newt or the 472 ETH that someone just sent a kid. But no, other things. Anthony Popolino just announced a Bitcoin treasury company called ProCap. He raised $750 million ahead of a $1 billion merger to create the company, trading with the ticker CCCM. They plan to buy Bitcoin and develop products to drive revenue from their BTC holdings. I pinned an article or a post from Tyler up top. Nothing more to add on that. I just wanted to share. Maybe more newsworthy and interest here on this audience is I knew Pingu or the Penguins were going to be, I believe, ringing the bell today at NASDAQ. I pinned that up top. I'll just share for those watching the feed here. They are not only ringing the bell, the sign says VanEck DAP, VanEck Digital Transformation ETF. Do you read this as VanEck also launching a Pingu ETF? I haven't read any details. I've just seen the photo. Yes, here it is. So Pingu. Oh no, that's his pin post from. So there's the Canary Pingu ETF is the pin post from Luca on March 20th. VanEck rang the opening bell today, and they did it with Pudgy, and they plastered the outside of the building with Pudgy. Oh shoot, let me rewind here. Sorry. I didn't realize it was video. I thought it was a still image. You can see the penguin in the background there. So anyways, I think that's our buddy. Oh, I shouldn't. I don't know if it's a lot.
Yeah,
but
don't. Yeah.
I think we know who's in the penguin. So congratulations. I don't know if this is new news, mean, it's very cool. I don't know if it's new news or it is just a continuation of this, but this was not with. I don't believe VanEck is involved in this one though. I don't know. Do you know any more about this than I? Like what this thing what happened today?
Well, I don't think the Canary Pangu ETF is related to anything specifically. I'm not positive about that. Digital transformation ETF, I believe, already exists from VanEck, so not sure what the tie-in is there. So definitely,
maybe just them giving the Pudgy Penguin ecosystem some love, showing a deeper relationship, but no actual announcement.
Yeah, I think that might be what it is. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I had a big list. Maybe we'll kick some stuff into tomorrow before OSF. I know we got to get a more, and a market update in here pretty soon as well. I definitely wanted to, I know we talked a lot of Xeet, Yeet, Eat, whatever it is. We'll talk to Pons about that on Wednesday. Other things I had on my list, obviously NFT NYC coming up. Telegram stickers, just, worth talking about again, probably because we had another big sellout. Bored Ape had a lot of push there. Rect sells out 7-Eleven. So did a 7-Eleven drop, sold that out. And then some other things, just Circle stock continues to kick. Isn't
it ironic that the best performing meme stock of this year is a stablecoin stock?
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I saw someone tweet like,
I mean, it's like you can't it is I'm not like, if you're in Circle, congratulations, GG. It's clearly a meme stock at this point. Like there's no fundamentals that justify its valuation. It's way overcooked. People just want access to cryptos. That's the signal to me, is people just want exposure to crypto, because it's like it's approaching the market cap of Coinbase, and Coinbase gets 50% of the revenues and profits that Circle makes. Like it makes zero sense from an actual fundamental standpoint that it's valued at this much. It's just, it shows extreme interest and demand, and I think really FOMO from Wall Street that they want more crypto exposure.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's definitely funny actually how it's kicking up so hard. I saw somebody on the timeline tweet like most bearish indicator on the Circle stock is that its stock is up whatever, like 500%, and the coin hasn't moved. Like like USDC remains at just $1. Like it's so I thought that was kind of funny. Let's do this. I'm going to do more first, and we can kind of close out daily market update just because more is a little Yeet focused. So we'll go that direction.
The more you know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for the more you know, brought to you by ENS. And we saw the giant timeline takeover by Yeet over the weekend. And the timeline takeover isn't just an ad format, it's a strategy. We're seeing a surge of attention campaigns, both in crypto and out of crypto, that continue to dominate. Obviously, we saw Laudio, one of the latest standouts alongside Yeet, where users earn token just for tweeting, some claiming $100 per post is more, most people claiming $2,000 to $3,000 on that airdrop. Of course, before that, Friendtech gamified engagement by letting people buy shares of each other, securitizing themselves. Weird, but it worked. Lending to a frenzy of shill threads and invite codes. But it's not just in crypto. We think that we're always doing something new, but it's really just reinventing the wheel. Remember the Barbie movie, anybody? Which was all over absolutely everything pink a couple summers ago. AI generated posters flooding the timeline, everything Barbie pink everywhere. Bachelor, you name it, it was Barbie. UGC spiraled and pink took over the internet. Wendy's, Twitter, obviously leaning to chaotic memes just to get that visibility. And of course, even Mr. Beast is basically built around engineered virility. Massive stunts, big giveaways, and content designed to dominate every algorithm. The common thread, attention is the asset. Whether it's tokens, tickets, or clout campaigns, campaigns that reward engagement explicitly or implicitly are reshaping how we market and how we scroll. And that was the More You Know, brought to you by ENS. ENS does more than you know, not just anchoring your name across the internet or Web3, but anchoring it across the internet. It's your identity, simple, memorable, and unmistakably yours. Security, interoperability, and ease of use. Go to ens.domains to learn more and secure your ENS domain today. And I'm just going to flip us right into the daily market update, Cap.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on ApeChain, we bringing the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. ApeChain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next?
Come on, my head top, but you want the time to chop for one time.
It is time for the daily market update powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top. Cap.
Yes, sir. It's not as bloody as day as you might have expected coming into today, but nevertheless, we'll start with majors here. Bitcoin down 1%, 101,571, but actually up from where it went down to. I don't know what it ended up hitting, but it definitely went below 100K, 97, 98 maybe. Bounced back up. ETH showing down 1% on the 24-hour pricing. Same thing. It's recovered as well, but 2261 as of now. XRP flat at 202. Solana up 1% at 135, Doge down 1%, and Cardano also flat. The memes, we had SPX leading the way up 11% to $1.82. Trump's flat, Pepe's flat, Sheeb's up 1%, Doge, as I said, down 1%, Bonk up 1%. As we head up to the NFT land, this is where it gets a little interesting. I was going to ask, see if anyone caught this. Beeple Everyday is up 50% on the day. I don't know if there's a sweep. I mean, it couldn't have been a sweep. It was only a couple of sales, but floor must just been uber thin to show such a increase in floor price there. Some people picking up some Beeples. Pepin editions up 12%. I'm guessing there is there's an upcoming drop that people are going to want to subscribe to or get into. The Peplicator, this is one we talked about last week. The bleeding continued. Someone basically, there was an exploit and they were able to mint extras and just kept flooring them. Looks like they haven't solved it yet. Milady's hanging out flat at 2 ETH. V1 CryptoPunk saw some volume, 9 sales over the last day. Flat is the floor at 2.39. Kaido Genesis NFTs. I didn't realize they were down to 1.45. That's flat, but it's got my interest peak there. I may look at those actually later today. Little Pudgies down 7%. I don't understand that. Why? I don't know if there's some liquidations or what, but big Pudgies are just down 1% or 1.77%. Mutant Apes got a little bounce up to 1.83. Apes down, or basically flat at 11.2. And I got to check Codas because I talked about them the other day, and I called they were going to flip mutants rather. With the bounce now, Codas are they gave it back up. They're 1.4, not 1. So the prediction not holding yet, but still time to come. Persistent other side around the corner. And then I thought there was one other thing, Steve, but I will. Well, that was our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top. Head over there. Get your POG account set up today if you've not yet done that. That's also linked up top. But go start those POG quests and more to come there. Clutch Market. We hit another one, 3 in a row. So we actually have an official streak. I said I was going to do Pacers plus Halliburton. For whatever reason, the MVP bet did not come back in the mustard sign enough volume on Polymarket. So I did not make that bet. So we didn't take the L when the Achilles tore, but hit one on Saturday as well. That I'm going to pay that forward, even though it was a Saturday and not actually part of the campaign. We're going to give that away to a lucky winner who retweeted today's space. So I'll hand it to you, let you take it wherever you'd like. And as you're doing that, before you shut us down, let me just make sure I get a winner picked here.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and pick a winner while we do that. Yeah, I mean, I think lots of interesting news we can kick forward in tomorrow. It's definitely going to be interested to see what happens with NFT NYC, if there's any big announcements this week. It is a weird week in the sense that we're in the middle of kind of sort of a war, but I don't know exactly what happened. So but the fact that the market wasn't super shook by it is really interesting and telling that people aren't as nervous as you might expect. I mean, you look at the traditional stock market, it's not down that much. You look at the crypto markets, they took a little bit of a haircut, but Bitcoin over 100K. So I think just overall, I think, again, continues to be positive indicators for crypto and Web3 heading into the second half of the year. And I think we potentially are gearing up for something pretty big here as we continue to roll. And just a matter of adoption continuing to happen. And it's cool being early, regardless of how it pays out to you. It's just cool knowing that, we're, I think, on the right path. So it's kind of exciting watching that happen and watching the assets be resilient regardless. And, again, it's funny. I still keep thinking just remind myself, we're not late, or it's not getting late in the game as much as people think it is. It's still early in the sense that institutional money and traditional people. Again, you bring up crypto to people, they still don't do it. A lot of your friends and family still don't have any Bitcoin. So we have a long way to go. But
pick a number between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
4.
Well, you pick the POG official account. So while I appreciate them retweeting the space, I prefer, as long as they don't object, I prefer to give the Caps Clutch Market Parlay of the day to a non-brand account.
10.
That is the D-God. Where'd it go? My Twitter just refreshed as I was looking to pick the winner. It is Dillo. Dillo, congratulations. You won Clutch Market Parlay of the day. We got some Ape coming to you. I will DM you right now. Just need an ApeChain address. EVM address will work as well. Congratulations. Appreciate the support as always. And we're going to get another one tonight. 4 in a row is a real winning streak, Steve.
Yeah, be awesome if you do. Keep it running. And yeah, get on Clutch Markets, man. I mean, Cap's cooking right now. You can be cooking too. So jump on there. Get yourself a clutch puppy if you're feeling so inclined. And we will get this thing going. But look, I'm going to go hang with the family and eat some breakfast and get a little bit of work done.
What is Steve's birthday breakfast dinner?
I actually might go to, there's a little local diner spot that I've been going to on Fridays. I haven't gone to in a while. So I might grab the kids and go there. Dawn's at work. Not sure yet. We shall see, but might grab a little diner, which usually is like a, buffalo chicken wrap and some fries or something that I usually get at like 10:30 in the morning after we finish. But yeah, no, it'll be good. Do something like that. A lot of work to get done. And also need to pack for NFT NYC, need to pack for, a couple other things. So I basically need to just pack my bags pretty heavily. Cause there's a non-zero chance I'm not even on the show next week, depending on how things go with the trip. So we shall see.
Last thought. And by the way, happy birthday. Enjoy your day today. And I'm serious. Like everyone, you got, if you tip me today, that would be my request on Steve's birthday is you take care of our guy, Steve, tomorrow. Greatly appreciate all the support. And, I'll wrap with this. Is Van Eck getting enough credit for how they're going about building in crypto and Web3?
I mean, I don't know. I think that they're kind of a darling within our side of the ecosystem, but I don't know if they're, why do you ask?
I mean, I like the fact that they even, they didn't have to bring up orange cap games today. I imagine that's a pretty cool experience for someone like Spencer and whoever else he brought up on the team. Right? It's like they're really, I know they have financial interests, but they're really building with Web3. It just, I don't know. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe they just psyops me. But of all the institutions that have come into this space, they seem to be the ones that are really building with, not just extracting from crypto. They feel like one of us. Yeah. From throwing the Pudgy Penguin on as their PFP originally, right? Like they were, I think, maybe the first to do that or one of the early ones to bringing Pudgies and orange cap games. Like they don't have to do any of this. And I know there's motive behind it, but how many others come in and they just stay in their boardrooms in their suits and they don't really it just feels forced or faked. It doesn't feel forced or fake for me, from my perspective, from Van Eck's approach.
Yeah, it does feel organic and it feels real. And I think that part about it is, it is cool. I do think we get enough credit just because I think people in crypto recognize it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, they're making a strategic bet on a lot of these crypto communities. We'll see how it plays out for them. But I do think them seeing around the corner versus, Jamie Dimon fighting things to the tooth and nail to the death. And then, now he's kind of more, oh yeah, maybe we're going to get into stable coins and maybe we'll do, it's like they all capitulate eventually. And I think Van Eck was in front of the curve in this, and hopefully it rewards them handsomely for doing that. Just like, we talked to POG today. It's like, POG doesn't have to be going into digital collectibles. They just see around the corner of what this is and what this can be. And I think, that's something that should be commended and hopefully does pay out, in rewards in the long term. So totally agree with you, Cap. Cool. Let's get everyone out of here. That said, appreciate everyone who came through today. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.